Today on Upfront, is Foxconn on the fast track? Republicans press for passage of billions of dollars in incentives, but Democrats urge caution. Next, State Senator Kathleen Vidout, who says taxpayers shouldn't get stuck with a lemon. Then, Republican Senate candidate Kevin Nicholson, why he says an outsider's perspective is needed in Washington. And Reince Priebus out as White House Chief of Staff. Will this hurt the president's relationship with House Speaker Paul Ryan?
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. We begin today with Foxconn and what we're learning about Governor Walker's plan to bring the Taiwanese tech giant to Wisconsin. There's talk of 3,000 jobs to start, with the possibility of 13,000 in the future. The Foxconn bill, providing $3 billion in incentives to the company, had its first hearing in Madison last week. The administration says starting pay at Foxconn for hourly workers will be $20 an hour. The company's annual payroll, when it's fully staffed here, will be $800 million. And a site for the Foxconn campus will be announced within a couple of weeks.
Foxconn is ready to go. I mean, they would like to hire people to begin starting some operations without even being in the area where the construction will take place.
Democratic lawmakers are asking questions about the Foxconn deal, and the conservative group Americans for Prosperity has come out against the use of taxpayer money for Foxconn. We're joined now by Democratic Senator Kathleen Vidout of Alma. It's good to have you back on the program.
Hey, my pleasure.
So I read a piece that you wrote last week where you raised questions about what's being discussed, and I guess I'll begin by asking you a simple question. Based on what you know right now, is this a deal you can support?
Well, there's certainly a lot of questions and a lot of things I'd like to see changed before it becomes a deal that I can support. And it's right to be asking questions. Sometimes the questions are very basic. How many jobs are going to be created? We don't know. The company's saying 3,000, the governor's saying 13,000. If you read the fine print in the bill, there are no numbers in terms of what's being created. How much are these jobs going to pay? We heard $20 an hour. We heard $54,000 a year.
Average salary.
Average salary in the bill. It's $30,000 a year if you're living in Racine, and $22,600 if the jobs are created in Milwaukee. So that begs the question if the people are really being shown what the details are. And then, of course, there's a lot of questions emerging about the waiving of environmental rules, the waiving of utility rules, draining water from, or taking water and diverting it from the Great Lakes, and if that's a violation of the Great Lakes Compact. So what I think most voters are concerned about are we going to get what we are paying for? So if we don't get it, can we get that money back? And when I look at the details in the bill is permissive, meaning we may get it back, we may not get it back. Well, it doesn't say shall.
Yeah, shall get it back.
It doesn't say we shall get it back.
Let me ask you, because I think Mark Hogan, who's the head of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, who testified on Thursday, tried to address this. And I want to read what he had to say and get your reaction to it. He said, and I'm quoting now, "I'd like to again stress this is a pay-as-you-grow investment. These refundable tax credits will not go out the door until and unless the company meets the performance metrics that will be included in its contract with WEDC. Foxconn will not receive any dollars from the state until they begin making the capital expenditures and hiring employees." Is that not reassuring in any sense?
Well, it's not in the sense that it's not in the bill, it's not in the memorandum of understanding, and we haven't seen the contract, and the legislature is not going to even get a hold of the contract before we're going to be asked to vote on it. Even the memorandum of understanding says they will negotiate by the end of September. But of course, all the legislators are being told, keep your calendars open, we're going to the floor. It's just a matter of a few days before we're going to be voting on this. So there's definitely a difference between the hype and the small print.
Senator, do you see any way this could be amended or some of these issues addressed that could get you to support it?
Well, I do see that there are many changes that need to be made, but voters are right to question the whole policy of whether or not we should give a great deal of money to one company. So I was looking at some of the numbers in my area in Eau Claire, and the 3,000 jobs Foxconn is supposed to committing to create is about the number of jobs that were created in Eau Claire in the last 3.5 years. And when I look at what the company said, why they located there, they said they liked great schools, the great universities, recreation, the arts, an efficient transportation system, and these were the reasons they came to Eau Claire to create jobs. So in one case, the state isn't paying out that $3 billion, and we've created the 3,000 jobs in Eau Claire. And in another case, we're not even sure that they're going to create it, but they're already lining up to take that money as soon as they break ground. That makes me wonder about the very policy of investing, for example, in Eau Claire, in a community where we all pay in and we all benefit, versus investing a lot of money where we all pay in, but there's one company that benefits.
How concerned are you that other companies may see what's being offered to Foxconn and may say, look, we'd like our piece of the pie, we'd like maybe some help with environmental regulations? How concerned are you that this opens the door to other companies making not the same request, but similar types of requests?
Oh, it's already happening. I'm hearing from my colleagues and my district from people who say, why do I have to worry about my property that's in a wetland? Why can't you waive the wetland rules for me too? Absolutely, this is a problem going forward.
There's an element of risk in just about everything in life, certainly in business. Can the state of Wisconsin afford not to take whatever risk there is with this deal?
Oh, yes, they can afford to not take it, and I think about the risk going forward. When I look at those tax credits,
to take the pass on the possibility of 13,000 jobs.
Those tax credits are front-loaded. That means that we're going to have to pay out cash because they're refundable. They're going to get a check from the state of Wisconsin, and that check is coming when they're making those capital expenditures, and all of those capital expenditures are happening in the near years. We haven't even seen the state's cash flow statement going forward. What's it going to look like to the budget? How much are we going to have to cut schools and healthcare and local government and roads in order to pay for these tax credits? That's the math that the legislature needs to see to be able to answer that question that you asked.
I mentioned the governor's race. You have a campaign committee. You registered a campaign committee. So certainly you've been thinking about a possible bid for governor. When are you going to decide, and what are you thinking right now?
Well, I'm out there testing the waters, and I can tell you that the waters are getting warmer.
So that sounds like you're leaning towards that, and when might you make a final decision?
Well, I said after the budget, but assuming the budget passes soon, I would continue to say after the budget, but look for an announcement in September.
All right. Senator Kathleen Vinehout, the Democrat from Alma, it's good to have you on the program again. Thanks very much for being with us.
My pleasure.
Later on up front, Reince Priebus, done as Trump's chief of staff. I'll be asking our political analysts whether this hurts President Trump's legislative agenda. But first, the Marine veteran seeking a U.S. Senate seat, Republican Kevin Nicholson, on his campaign and his past as a Democrat. That's when Up Front continues.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association.